Hey bros, I'm Frank. This is another episode of Nerf Stereotypes. In this episode, we're covering the Nerf Archer, the guy who refuses to use triggers and just likes bows and arrows. What up dudes, I'm gonna go over my gear and loadout for Nerf because it's awesome. I'm not a huge fan of guns, I just don't really like them. They're violent and they take no skill whatsoever to use. Bow and arrow, that's where the skill's at. That's why I like nerfing, because you know, it's super fun. This guy is the Nerf Thunderbow. I chose it because it's pretty much the biggest bow that I could find, and it has the most realistic draw stroke because, you know, it's not like super small. I have a nice hunting compound, which I like to go out and, you know, shoot targets and stuff like that. So this one feels very similar to that one, so I can, you know, feel like I'm shooting, you know, deer or, you know, whatever bow people actually shoot at, I don't know. It's not terribly realistic that it has 5 shots all at once. It has just like all this space up here. It's supposed to only shoot 1 at a time. So, you know, if I'm going into simulation mode, I'll just carry a bunch of mega darts and only load 1 at a time. So then I have to fire and then, you know, load just like I'm shooting an actual bow. Or if I want to force my hand in that handicap, I can use this guy, which is a single shot bow. Similar, but, you know, kind of miniature. So I can't get the same stroke because I'm kind of, you know, cramped and I feel like it's just like a toy or something. I don't know. This guy takes the equivalent amount of skill. So if I'm having kind of an off day and I just want to submit to all of the gun peasants, I can use a crossbow with a trigger. Don't really like it because again it's a trigger, but you know, super awesome performance out of this guy. The range and accuracy out of the Dino Hunter's crossbow, oh my gosh. It shoots further than any of the Nerf blasters the little gun peasants are using on the field, so I'm just like 200 yards away and freaking headshots. Which transitions me into my super elite costume. I wear a camo shirt so I can blend into the environment. Using a ghillie suit with a bow isn't really practical because the string gets caught up in your webbing, but my camouflage allows me to tactically hide in a bush or up in a tree. Sometimes I carry a bunch of plywood and I actually build a little sniper's hide up in the trees because that's fun. Then I can sit up there camping with my bow and my camouflage so people don't see me. They're down there having a good time, nerfing, having fun with their friends. Then I'm just like way outside of their effective range. They can't even hear, so I don't actually talk to anybody. But that's what it's all about, hiding out in the woods in solitude because, you know, that's fun. And if I'm in the mood to troll people, I'll whip out the crossbow. This is the Nerf crossbow, of course. This has a trigger, so this is, again, my peasant mood when I just can't aim at all. And it's not really a bow without the arms, but my arms fell off. But it's the thought that counts. It's kind of a crossbow. Oh, but pistol rounds, you ask. Yeah, that's a good one because most times pistols are only guns and not bows because what's a pistol bow? That doesn't even make sense. Until now. So now I'm not left out of pistol rounds because it's a bow and a gun, kind of. Not bow powered, and the whole bow thing actually doesn't do anything, but again, thought that counts. Every great archer in history always has a backup plan because bows fail. Sometimes your arms can snap, your string can snap, the blaster can break down, or you know, the bow blaster thing. Drawing from history, Legolas, Katniss Everdeen, Eagle Eye, Oliver Queen, all of these super important, influential people of actual history usually have some sort of backup plan, and so do I. And I draw from Legolas for, you know, inspiration. So I also carry a foam melee sword because this resembles Legolas's. He carries 2, I only have 1, whatever. And he looks freaking sweet when they're in his pouch running around, running through New Zealand like a boss, or, you know, the Lord of the Rings land, not New Zealand. Of course I resort to melee going into CQB because nobody wants to use a bow super close. It's kind of impractical because they're super practical from long range. But then you just pull out the foam sword and you just start batting people. Boom. Some of these noobs pull out like rapid strikes and go and then they just wreck me. Kind of unfair because I'm supposed to be invisible with my camouflage, one with nature. My gear is pretty simple. Again, camouflage to blend in. Tight-fitting Under Armour shirt because the loose-fitting shirts, the bowstring, it will catch them and snag, and that's not really cool. I'm not supposed to wear VAM braces. Somebody said it looks too aggressive when I wear them. Whatever. I think it's because their range level's too low and they're just a little jelly. I have 99 range. I have a skill cape to prove it. And I rock my black D-hide VAMs all day, every day, which are sweet. And they're like, no, you can't wear those. They're aggressive. They're black. Whatever. So, you know, this will have to do because, you know, tight-fitting clothing. It's all about the archer stuff. Look like Legolas again. Tight-fitting. He looks freaking awesome. And I have an identical figure, except I'm not an elf, or that gorgeous flowing hair. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's because he's an elf. I don't know. But lower, I just have normal pants. Not really special, but then I carry my quiver. Other people call it a dump pouch, and when I bought it on the internet, it was called a dump pouch. You don't really put things in there, you pull things out because it's a quiver. It's clearly a quiver. Inside of which I carry my arrows. I lost my Rebel bow, or I gave it away, I forget, but the arrows still look pretty sweet, and you can still throw them. I mean, they're kind of like grenades, but they don't blow up. It's actually sometimes a little bit more effective than, you know, shooting them out of a bow. And of course, it's the thought that counts. What? And of course, it's the thought that counts, so, you know, I've clearly shot a bow before. Hardcore tactics up in here. boom, you know, headshot from 200 yards. That's because bows are superior to blasters. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I went over all my gear. Yeah, if you don't get bows, you just won't get bows. You either get it or you don't. It's one of those things. But they are clearly superior to blasters because they require more skill and they're awesome. They're bigger, bulkier, and there's no triggers. They're much less accurate and consistent, which is why they're clearly better. But looking through history, they're clearly superior in war. Look, I'm in the Americas, in the United States of America. There were some people here hanging out with bows and arrows, and they were awesome until those, well, okay, until the white dude showed up with guns. But, you know, side point, whatever, bows are still superior. I'm just agree to disagree, fine. Yeah, so I'm the archer designated in my group. I just dig bows. Hopefully you learned something. Just realized I'm wearing camouflage. We're gonna have to reshoot the whole thing. They won't be able to see me. I'm invisible. Do you have another shirt I could borrow? Everything I own is camouflage, so I don't know because I'm blending into stuff because you can't see me. See? Can't see me. Modern technology is awesome. Trigger blasters will always defeat bows, but some people will always reject the modern stuff and get wiped out. That's this episode of Stereotypes. If you have an idea for a future episode, leave a comment in the section below. I'm Frank, thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay tactical. Like a ninja.